Now in this swatch, also notice that I've joined a new color. This is something that's done in the master's program in the first level, and it causes people a lot of grief, and I thought, well, as long as I'm doing this, I might as well show how you can join in the middle of a piece. Now again, if I'm using the same yarn, try not to join in the middle of the piece. You might lose a little bit of yarn if you have to work back to the beginning of the row, but you can save that yarn that you clip for seaming later. It's always better to have yarn tails at the selvage. But in this case, as if I were doing an intarsia piece, I need to make a join in the middle. Now notice that I haven't tied any knots and I have not made any effort to make this look good as I've knit it. And the reason why is I'm going to fix it when I do my yarn tails. And what I can do is I can kind of tighten up the stitches, and if there's an over large stitch, this one looks a little big, I can just work the excess to the yarn tail. Now what I see a lot of people do is they will then wrap these and then wrap them around and then weave the yarn in that direction. The problem with this method is that it leaves a little knot right there, and frequently that knot is visible. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave the yarn in the direction that the yarn would be going if I hadn't clipped it. So here's my yarn, there's my end, and if I had continued using it, it would be going in this direction. So I want to get that tail out of the way, and I'm going to make sure I've got it the size I want it. I'm going to kind of pinch it closed, and I'm going to duplicate stitch where this yarn would have gone if I'd continued to knit with it, and it would have gone here and up there and around this way. So I'm going to slightly split the yarn again. I know that's heretical, but hey, I've been doing this for years and haven't noticed a problem yet. And I know that I'm duplicate stitching this over a different color, but I'm not panicked yet. And then I'm going to just carefully split those stitches a bit and weave it. And I'm not pulling it too tight. I'm just trying to keep it so that it is laying over the top of the yarn that is there. And we'll bring it up here, and then we'll stop. Now what I want to do before, particularly if I'm using two colors, before I go any further, before I clip anything, is flip over and see how that's looking. And I really don't see much of a bleed through. There's a little bit right there, but you know, that's good enough for government work.